It's just, I don't got bitches no more like that. But I'm talking about, I had bitches. Bitch gotta be 62 right now. Gotta be at least 62, 63. Cause I was bold enough when I was 20 and she was 37. You know, I'm 49 now, so I'm sitting there thinking about the age, and it's like, she be sending me these truck videos and shit, and I be like, yo.
She recalls her relationship with NBA player Malik Beasley, and for those who are watching, we had a real throwback episode where we talked about this when it initially started. He played on the same team as her son, Scottie Pippen Jr. She admitted her relationship with Malik was a mistake and blames it on COVID brain. She said, that was a mistake, but I had COVID brain. I was stuck in my house. I hadn't gone anywhere. He was there and he was on me like, let me come see you. And I thought, okay, come see me. So, Mace, have you ever had COVID brain? And then what did you think of her thought process?
Pause on the COVID brain. That sounds crazy. I don't know. What is COVID brain? You've been in the house too long, so you...
She explains it as, when you just start doing things.
Cam, you answer that.
She was giving COVID brain. That's what she was doing. So, that's exactly what she was doing. So why you fuck with Michael Jordan's son? Why you keep going around just scouting basketball players for years, man? Scottie Pippen's your baby father. To me, it's more embarrassing as a mother. Your son is in the NBA, and you was actually on the team. He was on the team with a player that you was fucking. It's embarrassing, as a mother. And then these comments it just goes to show you're not that bright. Even if you do, to say it. Look, my thing is this, right?
It is embarrassing. I'll go with that statement.
You gotta agree. I know you can't agree with all the shit publicly I do, mother. She doesn't appear to be that bright to say that. It doesn't. I'm not talking about a nigga mother. I'm talking about somebody who says this.
No, but it is embarrassing. It's like coming to your job and having sex with niggas at your job.
Exactly. And it's your mother. It's like this, like B. Niggas listening to Sukiyana and all them and thinking it's all good to be living this lifestyle. Sometimes you're a little too old for that. I think the music plays a part in it too.
I think so too.
Because these bitches be, you know what it is? I don't got bitches no more like that. But I'm talking about, I had bitches. Bitch gotta be 62 right now. Gotta be at least 62, 63. Cause I was bold enough when I was 20 and she was 37. I'm 49 now, so I'm sitting there thinking about the age, and it's like, she be sending me these truck videos and shit, and I be like, yo, I think I'm
twerking at 62.
I got a video. you not keep the fast, nigga. And it be like, yo, when you was younger in the 90s and the internet, it's all internet. It's like it was frowned upon to be a hoe.
Yeah.
And they were secret hoes or they couldn't be the hoes that they wanted, and now it's not cool to, I'm using the word hoe, but that's not what they would use. Influencer.
That's different, but I see where you're going.
Twerker, this is the words they use nowadays.
Model.
Yeah, IG model. These are the new words. Pardon me if I'm still using the 90s hoe words. Y'all are influencers now. and everything else y'all doing.
And Instagram models.
And Instagram models. So they seeing this and they like, yo, man, me and my girls could have turned up like this in 92. And now they feel like they miss out on it. And now, to be totally honest with you, older women are looking better than they look when they, so let's say, for instance, a 45-year-old woman today looks better than a 45-year-old woman in 94 because of nutrition. We're learning how to take care of bodies. We're learning how to to get better sleep. And the doctors. You gotta get the doctors in there. Let's not forget about the doctor in Miami cutting your rib, yank a rib out, getting the hair removed from your lips and all type of shit. You're looking better. You know what I'm saying? So now they like, yo, I could twerk 62, you know that? You know what I mean? So I think a lot of females, Larsa Pippen and them, don't even.
You always say Larissa, but it's okay.
It's Larsa.
Larsa.
I don't really care. That's why. I've been mad when I might mispronounce Mike Tomlin or something.
That's fine.
Scottie Pippen, baby mother. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
People like that don't even realize they're doing anything wrong dating your son's teammate or dating Michael Jordan's son, your baby father's teammate's son that you watch grow up.
Yeah.
And now you blame it on COVID brain. What I will do is this. I'll give her this. COVID was rough, man. You had to pick somebody and stay with them. I had two during COVID. And I'll give you COVID brain. I won't pause. I won't say that's what I had, but I was like, damn, I'm stuck with this after about 3 weeks. Because you can't risk it. People are dying. People's dying. Can't just be sleeping with everybody during the COVID, man. So if you chose him during the COVID, that was your choice. I get it, but that was your choice. We all had choices to make.
Yeah, just think about it if it was the other way around, right? Let's say it was a ladies basketball team and the dad came in there and he was smashing his daughter's friend on the team.
Right.
How would the ladies look at that stuff?
100% correct. I like
it's
that.
crazy all the way around.
No, but it would be crazier.
I can't even
It would be crazier if you had a younger daughter, she's on the team, but then her friend like you, she thinks you're good to go.
Yeah, you would be all type of suckers.
Yeah.
Pause. Word.
Pedophiles, all that.
Yeah, 100% correct. How old is she? You know what I'm saying? Shit crazy, man.
It is crazy, and that is that. I don't know. That was her reasoning. COVID brain.
Yeah.
That. You know
COVID
what?
brain is just AKA I still got it.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, it's you know why? It's the lack of awareness. To say you lost your hoism, like Dre, like yo.
Yeah.
Nah, I think the wholeness wears off after like 7 years, so I'm not a hoe anymore. And you might not be a hoe no more, and I'm not talking about Dre specifically, but to make the comment is like, it isn't the chicken pie. It isn't like you go take a pill and you get rid of the hoism. You know, when you say the comment, sometimes just be like, yo, this is what we got good. This is what we got to look forward to. Next generation, man, or society or whatever. It's bad. Last thing before we leave.
Why didn't you jump in for her? You normally protect the women.
Yeah, man.
What am I protecting?
Yeah.
What am I'm not a stand for that.
I sent you Hoga. They've been doing Hoga.
I'm literally not a stand for that. I don't. That's her.
Let me ask you one thing off the topic real quick, because I know we got to wrap. I was watching the P. Diddy trial. Some nigga named The Punisher came in there yesterday. Was he running around Bad Boy back in the days, murder? A nigga named The Punisher. Who was The Punisher? Was he security assigned back in Who's The Punisher? The male prostitute.
Yeah, I never met him.
I ain't know if that was somebody changing their identity up. Nigga Bentley or one of them niggas say you ain't Mr. Bentley no more, you the Punisher. I ain't mean to bear
that
off.
was wild.
Yeah.
That was super wild.
Yeah.
I guess this is what B said. You don't really know niggas.
Yeah, you don't know
never
niggas.
really know niggas.
Ooh, child. Well, y'all, that is all the time that we have for
The
today.
more you know.
No, literally. Perfect segue. Thank y'all for watching. And as always,
Yo, tap in for a second, because today we're jumping straight into one of the wildest, messiest, and most unfiltered celebrity clashes the internet has seen in a long time. This story pulls together two iconic Harlem voices and one very recognizable reality TV housewife, and trust me, it gets chaotic quickly. We're talking about Mace and Cameron coming directly at Larsa Pippen, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what sparked the situation, how everything unfolded, and why the internet couldn't stop talking about it. But before we get into the shots fired and all the chaos that followed, we need to establish the backstory first, because without that context, none of this drama really adds up. And honestly, once you hear the history, the situation becomes even crazier than the actual beef. So let's rewind and break down exactly who Larsa Pippen is. If you're just getting caught up, Larsa Pippen is the former wife of NBA legend Scottie Pippen. And if you know basketball history, then you already know Scottie Pippen was Michael Jordan's legendary running mate during the Chicago Bulls dynasty, winning 6 championships and helping create an era that basketball fans still talk about today. Larsa was beside Scottie for a major portion of that journey. The two got married in 1997, and after spending more than 2 decades together, their relationship eventually fell apart, with the divorce finalized in December 2021. Now, you'd probably expect someone with that kind of history to step away from the spotlight after a breakup like that. But Larsa had completely different plans. Instead, she pushed even harder into the public eye. She secured her place on The Real Housewives of Miami, built her own brand, stayed glamorous, stayed visible, and made sure her name remained firmly planted in pop culture conversations. She was out there living boldly, unapologetically, and making it clear she wasn't disappearing anytime soon. Then came 2023, when Larsa made a relationship move that sent the internet into absolute overdrive. Larsa Pippen began dating none other than Marcus Jordan. Now stop right there, because if that name already sounds familiar, there's a very good reason for it. Marcus Jordan is the son of Michael Jordan. Yes, that Michael Jordan, the same basketball icon who won those legendary Bulls championships alongside Scottie Pippen. The same Michael Jordan whose name became permanently connected to Scottie's legacy throughout basketball history. Scottie's teammate, his right-hand man, and his partner during more than a decade of NBA greatness. And suddenly, Larsa, Scottie's former wife, was publicly dating Marcus Jordan, someone connected directly to Scottie's world through the Jordan family. You can already imagine why the internet went completely insane trying to process that combination. Then the age difference added another layer to the conversation. Larsa was 49 at the time, while Marcus Jordan was 33. That's a 16-year difference, plain and simple. But the age gap wasn't even the only complicated part, because once you look at the families, the history, and the connections involved, the situation becomes even more tangled. Larsa's children had essentially grown up knowing Marcus Jordan. Her son, Scottie Pippen Jr., is only around 10 years younger than Marcus himself. So this wasn't just an ordinary celebrity romance, it was a relationship loaded with overlapping history, family connections, and enough drama to keep the internet busy for months. But Larsa and Marcus clearly weren't concerned about all that outside noise. They made their relationship official in January 2023, appeared together publicly, and flooded social media with pictures of each other. Larsa even captioned one of their early photos with "checks over stripes," a clear reference to the Jordan and Adidas rivalry. They looked fully invested and completely unapologetic about the relationship. But slowly, something began changing beneath the surface. By early February 2024, reports started circulating that Larsa and Marcus had officially broken up. They unfollowed each other on Instagram, and in the social media era, that move is basically the celebrity equivalent of hanging a giant "It's over" sign. Then, almost immediately after the unfollowing, Larsa posted a pointed message to her Instagram stories that caught everyone's attention. The message talked about how choosing the right life partner can affect everything around you, including your mental health, your peace, your happiness, and even the way your children are raised. And then she ended the message with 2 simple words: choose wisely. Now that post right there became the spark that sent the whole conversation into flames, because people immediately started wondering what exactly Larsa was trying to communicate. Was Larsa Pippen positioning herself as the victim? Was she making it seem like she had been hurt by a man she knowingly chose to date despite stepping into one of the most complicated relationships imaginable? Or was there another side to the story that people weren't hearing? And 2 very specific people were more than ready to give their opinions on that question. 2 people who aren't exactly known for biting their tongues, filtering their thoughts, or backing away from controversy. Mace and Cameron. So once news of the Larsa and Marcus breakup hit the streets, and Larsa continued posting cryptic messages that made it look like she was the one who had been played, Mace and Cameron had plenty to say. And these weren't quiet little observations either. They took those opinions straight to the podcast and gave the situation absolutely no mercy. Mace stepped in first, and he came out swinging. He started almost like he was giving himself a warning, admitting that he might be the last person who should judge a situation like this, because by his own description, he can be pretty insensitive when it comes to situations like these. For one quick second, it sounded like he might actually hold back. But nope, that restraint disappeared almost instantly. Mace went all the way in, with no hesitation and no filter. The clip from that episode had people replaying it over and over, because he immediately questioned how Larsa could even respond to the situation, much less present herself as the victim. His point was simple. She willingly entered a relationship with a man 16 years younger than her, and then, once everything collapsed, appeared to place the blame on him. He broke the situation down from every angle. You're the adult here, Larsa. You made the decision. You knowingly stepped into a relationship with an enormous amount of complicated history surrounding it. So you can't suddenly act shocked by the consequences when you were fully aware of the road you were choosing to travel. And then Mace delivered what quickly became one of the most memorable lines from the entire conversation. His argument was basically this: wait a minute, aren't you Scotty's ex-wife? And now you're going against both the Pippens and the Jordans? You have absolutely no future in Chicago. You're beefing with Batman and Robin, and now you're beefing with baby Batman too. What exactly is going on, Larsa? Because this is honestly getting embarrassing. The way he framed the entire situation was hilarious on the surface, but underneath the jokes was a pretty brutal point. He was basically highlighting the fact that Larsa somehow found herself at odds with major figures connected to one of the greatest basketball dynasties in history. Scottie Pippen on one side, Michael Jordan on the other, and Marcus Jordan sitting right in the middle of that entire mess. And that baby Batman line was so perfectly timed that people immediately grabbed it and ran with it. Mace also went straight towards something a lot of people had apparently been thinking privately, but weren't willing to say publicly. He looked at the relationship and argued that Larsa appeared to be taking advantage of Marcus, including his youth, excitement, famous last name, and powerful connections. In his view, she had already stepped into questionable territory from the moment she entered the relationship. Then, after everything fell apart, she deleted Marcus's pictures from her social media and appeared to frame the situation as though he was responsible for all the problems. He even pointed toward the fact that Larsa reportedly received part of Scotty's pension money through their divorce settlement, and now, according to Mace's argument, she had somehow ended up caught in another major conflict involving the Jordan family. Then Mace wrapped up his argument with a line that immediately became one of the most repeated moments from the discussion. Larsa, you're not 21. You're not Lori Harvey. Somebody needs to be honest with you and tell you to chill out. Stop putting yourself in situations that could embarrass your children. That statement landed hard. For some context, Lori Harvey is Steve Harvey's daughter, and she has become known for carrying herself confidently and unapologetically when it comes to her dating life. She's young, she's successful, she looks good, she makes her own choices, and she seems completely comfortable owning whatever decisions she makes. So when Mace brought up Lori Harvey, his larger point was that carefree, live-your-life energy can work for someone in the right stage of life and under the right circumstances. But according to his argument, Larsa isn't in that same position. She's approaching 50, she's a mother, and she has an enormous amount of history connected to two of the biggest names in basketball. You can't make choices like you're 22 and then act surprised when millions of people have something to say about those choices. Now, most people who get publicly dragged like that on a massively popular podcast would probably disappear for a while, stay quiet, and hope the attention eventually dies down. But Larsa Pippen clearly wasn't interested in taking that route. She didn't release some lengthy statement. She didn't schedule an interview to explain herself. Instead, she kept her response short, petty, and extremely direct. She went on to Instagram, found a Hollywood Unlocked post discussing Mace's comments, and responded with a string of clown emojis in the comments. That's it, just clown emojis. She didn't need a paragraph because the message was obvious. She was publicly calling Mace a clown while putting in almost zero effort. And that was exactly when Cameron decided it was time to step into the fight. Killer Cam showed up on the very next episode of It Is What It Is, fully prepared to defend his co-host and longtime friend. Cameron isn't really known for doing anything halfway. Once he decides somebody has crossed the line, he usually takes the situation as far as he thinks it needs to go, and Larsa quickly finds herself on the receiving end of that energy. He opened the conversation by pointing out what he considered the biggest contradiction in Larsa's response. How are you sitting inside the circus and then turning around to call somebody else a clown? Seriously, how does that make sense? Cameron's message was blunt. You're already in the circus, boo. You're appearing on housewives shows everywhere. Real Housewives here, Real Housewives there, Miami, different cities, different seasons. He openly questioned Larsa's relevance and suggested that someone whose public image is heavily connected to reality television and her relationship to Scottie Pippen's legacy shouldn't be so quick to label an established hip-hop figure a clown. The confidence, the audacity, the sheer nerve of it all became part of his argument. Then Cameron turned his attention directly toward the relationship and refused to soften his opinion. He emphasized that Marcus Jordan's father, Michael Jordan, was literally Scottie Pippen's longtime teammate, which meant the two families were connected through decades of basketball history. He basically argued that's almost like Scottie's nephew when you really look at how closely those families were connected. You watched this kid grow up. To Cameron, the entire situation looked extremely uncomfortable. He called it nasty, genuinely nasty, and then went even further by comparing the situation to the controversial Woody Allen story. That comparison alone showed just how strongly Cameron viewed the relationship and how little sympathy he seemed to have for Larsa's side of the argument. And then Cameron returned to the Lori Harvey comparison and pushed the point even harder than Mace had. His message was essentially, you can't call Mace a clown when you're standing in the circus yourself. You're approaching 50, you're not Lori Harvey. From the outside, this doesn't look good. And those comments spread like wildfire across clips from that episode of It Is What It Is. Twitter exploded. Instagram comment sections were flooded with people repeating Cameron's words. YouTube creators immediately started producing reaction videos one after another. The phrase, "You're not Lori Harvey," quickly became the unofficial slogan attached to this entire controversy. But here's the part a lot of people may not realize. This wasn't even the first time Mace and Cameron had discussed Larsa Pippen or made jokes about her situation. These two had apparently been watching the storyline for quite some time. Back in June 2023, Mace had already joked on the show that Larsa might eventually move on to one of LeBron James's sons after finishing things with Marcus Jordan. That clip went viral and showed that their opinions about the situation had been forming long before the February 2024 explosion. Cameron had also previously appeared on the show and compared Scottie Pippen to O.J. Simpson while discussing the broader situation, which created another wave of online reactions. So the February blow-up wasn't some completely random argument that appeared out of nowhere. It was more like a pressure cooker that had been sitting there quietly building for months. Then Larsa's cryptic Instagram posts appeared immediately after the breakup, and that was the spark that finally made everything explode. Now, to keep this fair and actually look at the situation from every angle, because we shouldn't automatically assume we know everything just because celebrities are arguing publicly, nobody outside that relationship knows what really happened between Larsa and Marcus behind closed doors. We simply don't have the complete story. We don't know exactly why they broke up. We don't know what conversations happened between them. We don't know whose feelings were hurt or what promises may have been broken. Relationships ending are rarely as simple as they look from the outside. Real emotions don't follow internet narratives, headlines, or whatever storyline social media decides to create. It's entirely possible Marcus Jordan did things that genuinely hurt Larsa. There could be private details we haven't seen and will never see. And if those things happened, then Larsa's hurt and frustration could be completely understandable, even if this relationship was practically guaranteed to attract this level of attention from the very beginning. But the bigger argument Mace and Cameron were making wasn't simply about defending Marcus or taking cheap shots at Larsa for entertainment. It was about looking at the entire situation from a much wider perspective. The way the relationship was presented from day one, with romantic captions, coordinated outfits, constant public appearances, and a very deliberate presence online, then everything suddenly started falling apart, and those flashy public moments were replaced by cryptic messages about protecting your peace and choosing the right partner. It almost created the image of Larsa as the main character in a cautionary story that she supposedly had no role in creating. Then, when May stepped forward and voiced what many people were already thinking, Larsa answered with clown emojis instead of actually addressing the substance of his criticism. And that response only pulled Cameron deeper into the conversation, amplified the controversy, pushed the clips even further, and kept the entire cycle moving. Suddenly, everybody had something to say. Comment sections across practically every platform turned into non-stop battlefields. People argued around the clock about whether Mace and Cameron crossed the line, or whether they were simply saying the uncomfortable things everyone else was too afraid to say. Some viewers genuinely believed the two rappers were being unnecessarily harsh toward a woman who had every right to post whatever she wanted on her own Instagram without having two rappers publicly analyze every decision she made on a podcast. Others believed Mace and Cameron were delivering the kind of brutally honest commentary that people were already thinking but didn't have the courage to say publicly. And both sides had plenty of supporters who defended their position with serious conviction. Watching the social media reaction unfold was almost a story by itself. Twitter users created entire threads dissecting practically every sentence that came out of the conversation. Instagram pages kept reposting the clips over and over, with some of those posts pulling hundreds of thousands of views. YouTube reaction channels jumped all over the controversy, producing videos from nearly every possible angle. And through all that chaos, one thing seemed impossible to deny. Regardless of whether you agreed with what Mace and Cameron actually said, they delivered their opinions with maximum confidence and absolutely no hesitation. They didn't dance around the subject, they didn't water down their language, they said what they believed and stood firmly behind it. Meanwhile, through all the noise, all the viral clips, and all the non-stop online commentary, Larsa Pippen continued standing on her own. She didn't fall apart publicly, she didn't release some emotional response or rush into a defensive interview. Instead, she simply kept moving. She continued appearing in public, continued posting, continued maintaining her visibility, and continued presenting herself exactly the way she wanted to. And honestly, that says something about her ability to handle pressure. She's been a public figure for years, which means she spent years watching strangers dissect her relationships, decisions, and personal life. You don't survive in that environment for long without developing some serious emotional armor. And Larsa Pippen clearly has plenty of it. But those clips, especially the moments where Mace and Cameron went all the way in on her, didn't simply disappear after a few days. They continued circulating across social media. They resurfaced whenever Larsa's name became part of another conversation. Eventually, they became part of the permanent history surrounding this particular controversy. People kept bringing those clips back whenever her personal life became a topic again. and the show itself gained even more attention and attracted new viewers because of the controversy, further strengthening Mace and Cameron's position as two of the more entertaining voices in celebrity commentary right now. When you step back from the entire situation, Larsa Pippen is still a grown woman making her own decisions and living her life according to her own rules, and she's clearly demonstrated that she can withstand the attention that comes with that lifestyle. Mace and Cameron, on the other hand, built their careers and public identities around being direct, unfiltered, and willing to say exactly what they think without waiting for anyone's approval. When those two personalities collided over this situation, there was almost no chance the internet was going to ignore it. Whether you're siding with Larsa or believing Mace and Cameron were simply speaking facts, you can't deny that they delivered their arguments with complete confidence. They brought the jokes, the timing, and the kind of personality most people simply couldn't replicate, all on a platform practically designed for moments exactly like this. This is what happens when celebrities live their lives publicly in the age of social media, podcasts, and instant reactions. Every decision can become a headline. Every post can become a debate. Every comment can turn into a viral moment. And when established voices like Mace and Cameron sit down, lock in, and decide they're going to speak on the situation, you better believe the internet is going to listen closely to every single word. And if you stayed locked in from the beginning all the way to the end, then you already know you made it through one seriously wild ride.